Today I'm at the Ohio Wildlife Center. Located in central Ohio, this organization fosters awareness and appreciation of Ohio's native wildlife through rehabilitation and education. And while the goal of OWC is always to release their patients back into the wild, sometimes their injuries or illnesses no longer allow them to survive on their own, and they become animal ambassadors for their species. That is a peregrine falcon, the fastest animal on the planet. Now, Barbara, tell us what's so unique about Aragon here.
Well, our falcons are our fastest animals. They can dive at speeds over 230 miles per hour. The only reason we don't know exactly how fast they can go is because the equipment that reads their speeds only goes up to 230.
Wow.
But they have some really special and strange adaptations to be able to do that. So imagine diving at 200 miles an hour, your lungs would probably blow up. So
Yeah.
they have that little bone inside the nostril there. If you see that little bony tubercle, and that acts just like the cone in a jet engine. It breaks up the flow of the air so that it doesn't rush into their lungs and burst their lungs while they're diving. They also have a really thick, heavy-boned keel or breastbone that provides a little sturdier skeleton for those high dives, because there's a lot of torque on their bodies when they're diving.
Really cool. I think most people did not realize that the fastest animal on the planet lives here in Ohio, which I think is really unique. Most people don't know that. So because this bird is so fast, Barbara, explain to us how these birds actually catch their prey, because they will actually go way up in the air and then dive bomb towards their prey, correct?
Right. So those dives are called stoops, and they'll typically stoop after pigeons if they live in the cities, and most of our major cities throughout the United States has a pair of peregrines nesting somewhere in their downtown, because that is a suitable replacement cliff for them. So they will hunt pigeons or ducks. This bird is also known as the duck hawk. And you know how large a duck is.
Yeah, so this bird will take down a duck?
It's hard to fathom something this small. But what they're doing, they have that big heavy keel I mentioned, and they will fold their feet right next to that keel. And when they actually strike the prey, they're going to hit it with such force, most of the time the prey is instantly killed on impact. And then they'll take it down to the ground. They'll either feed off of it on the ground if it's too big to carry off, or if it's small enough, then they'll organize themselves and take it up to a higher loft.
Wow, so basically the prey has no idea what's just hit it. So a peregrine falcon dives out of the air, talons spread, and boom, it's dead before it even knows what happens.
That's right.
Now Aragon is a very special ambassador here at Ohio Wildlife Center because he actually is used for feather transplants, correct?
Right, so when we have a falcon that comes into rehabilitation, in the captive treatment process, they often will break the tips of their flight feathers or tail feathers because they're bouncing around a little bit in their enclosures. Well, they can't be released like that because they can't fly properly. So we save the molted feathers, or the shed feathers in other words, from our captive birds, and we store those so that when we need to release a wild bird that has a broken feather, we can replace it with one of these birds' feathers.
Now, does that go, can species interchange? Like, can one of Aragon's feathers go on a red-tailed hawk, or does it have to stay species to species?
Right, it stays species specific for that purpose. Just the shape and purpose of each feather is actually unique to each species.
Aragon is not a bird that can be released back into the wild because she does have permanent damage, and that's why she's become an ambassador for her species by donating her feathers so that other peregrines can get up to those high heights and soar at speeds of over 230 miles an hour. If you thought that was an amazing animal encounter, make sure to check out these other videos. And don't forget, subscribe to follow me and the crew on this season of Breaking Trail.